We've got about 10 more minutes. I want to give as many people a chance to make a comment or ask a question.
Good evening, Your Honor. First thing we'd like to do, we're from Eastport Plaza. We run operations, management is here. We're representing the ownership of Eastport Plaza, which has been part of the Lents community for 50, 60 years. First thing we'd like to do is thank every police officer that's in this room and the ones that are not in this room for your support, your partnership, your commitment. We love you guys. You always have our back when you can. And we just want you to know that we appreciate you. It's an impossible job. Eastport Plaza is an economic engine for this neighborhood. We have tenants that have small businesses there, services that can't come from anywhere else. People come from all over the place to take part in those services. Yet we have a crime-ridden property. We spend a third of our operating budget on security, yet crime continues to rise. We spend another third on that, of our budget, on the maintenance of the property, yet the needles, the machetes, the drugs, the prostitutes, they continue to come to the property. They continue to be a blight on the experience of the property. And when we pass those costs on to the tenants, what happens? The businesses become unsustainable. So because of the situation, we have put an entire economic engine in the middle of the Lents neighborhood at risk. When we call the police, it's nearly impossible for them to do everything they need to do. While we love them, it's nearly impossible. We have people with machetes on the property, and because of overcrowding, because of other situations, the only thing they can do is take the machete away and send the person along. They may get arrested, an hour later they're back on the property. We have homeless camps around. We trespass, and we have over 1,000 people in our trespass book. And here's the thing that really pains me. We have people that work hard every day to clean up the property, to maintain it. These people live in this community. They work hard to pay a mortgage, to support the community. They get stuck by needles. They're put at risk every day. Our security officers are assaulted. And what we hear, we love. Progress. Things are in the works. We're a business. We don't have the luxury of time. We don't have the luxury to wait. What do we say to the employee? We've had 2 employees this year stuck by needles, just cleaning up. What about the dignity of those folks? I hear compassion. I saw the report, the documentary where you said you're concerned about the sustainability of compassion. We're compassionate. We love people. But we love the employees too. And they can't be stuck by needles. They can't be assaulted. So I guess the question is, where are the results? When do we start seeing the results?
Hey, I thought it was supposed to be 3 minutes.
I've been a landlord here in Portland for 20 years, and nobody does it better, and certainly not for $4.25 including bills. Why are you finding people like me for things like linoleum and forcing us to take the first available client instead of encouraging and supporting us?
Robert, it's really hard for us to hear. I don't know why that corner, all we're getting is reverb up here. Can you repeat the question, please?
You actually walked out last time I tried to ask you a question, but I've been a landlord for 20 years in Southeast Portland. I do rooms for rent. Nobody does it better, and certainly not for $4.25 including bills like I do. Why are you finding, inspecting, and forcing people like me to take the first available client, who probably is hitting on me because I'm hot, but whatever. But why are you regulating housing more, which is making less housing?
So the general concern is you're playing a role in the community and providing a service, and you feel like the city and its, what's that? Rooms for rent. And you feel like the city's enforcement is over-regulating.
Yeah, okay, I
Okay.
got it. So, first of all, thank you for renting rooms. I appreciate it. But there are also standards that have to be put into place. There's health and safety standards. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Background check.
She's saying like it's better than a tent. Is that what you're talking about, ma'am?
Well,
Making it hell to be a landlord.
She's saying that housing is an issue,
yeah.
but you are regulating those who are trying to provide housing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So renter protections, inclusionary housing policy, et cetera, and your question is, do those things actually inhibit the creation of affordable housing? I would respectfully argue that that is not the case. I would respectfully argue that the data shows that in fact there is plenty of housing being created. The problem right now is that the housing that is being created isn't, we're undersupplied for, I'm sorry? Sorry?
Why don't you come up so he can hear you?
Come on here.
I mean, there's other people that want to say something.
I'll just say this. We try to balance health, safety, protections for people who are renters in particular, with also the supply side issues that developers and housing advocates and others ask us for. For example, we've reformed the permitting system. When I came here 2 years ago, I remember somebody in this audience saying that the permitting process was onerous. It was very hard to permit housing in the city. So we completely reformed the permitting process. We put in the Portland online permitting system. We streamlined that process. The fire folks are here know that there's one life safety piece of the permitting process that used to take 8 weeks that we've now cut down to 1 week. So there's supply side things we're doing too. It's a balance.
She's talking about the Chloe rules of not allowing landlords to do background checks and forcing landlords to pay people to move and stuff like that, where it's making it more difficult to be a landlord. Where she's renting rooms, and I know where she's renting rooms to the low income people that no one else will pay, and it's gonna be detrimental to her to help people out.
Well, there's been various rules that have been passed by the city council, one of which said that you could only raise rent, I think it was 9.999% per year. And when we went out and we surveyed landlords, we found that most people weren't raising the rent 10% per year. And if you are raising your rent 10% per year, that's way ahead of the market increase in terms of costs.
We've got time for about one more question. I know that the Neighborhood Association is going to wrap up.
My name is Susie Ho. I own a small business in Lents Park here for 37 years. It's getting harder and harder to run a business in here. The government
Well,
treats
close
people
then.
so well, and then they think they can come in the store. They took whatever they want since we own it. Why can't city work out a program, say, teach them how to work? So we have work fair instead of welfare. I see people.
Why don't you hire them?
I see people. About 37 years.
Why don't you hire them?
From beginning, they used EBT. 30 years
They're not being
later,
respectful of me. I have
now the kids use
30-second
it.
question.
If we have a program to teach them how to work, how to respect the job, instead of sitting at home, wait for welfare, we have to pay for all those.
Well, good. Why don't you hire them?
And then the more program you're going to put up with, can I ask you, who's going to pay for it? The city going to pay? Or should we, as the business owner pay for it. I understand about the lens parking problem. My employee have to deal with the people every single day. We will try to clean up the garbage can, stuck in there, the needles. I got an employee that hurt like this. How can you help and protect the people who want to work instead of people on the street? That's my question.
Why don't you pay to teach them how to do it?
So the answer is we should be doing, again, all of the above. It's not an either or. We need to respect your rights as a business owner and operator. I want you to be successful. I don't want your employees to have to be exposed to all kinds of environmental risks, and believe me, you're not alone. I hear about this a lot from a lot of different people. And again, I understand your frustration and I understand your anger. I didn't come here expecting anything other than that, because people have a right to be angry. They have a right to be frustrated. They have a right to be anxious about this crisis. And I'm going to confess something. I am too. And so I am doing what I think are the right strategies to basically undo years of neglect or misdiagnosing the problem or failing to make the right investments to be able to address these issues. And I understand that the gentleman over here basically used my punchline. It doesn't matter what information we give. It doesn't matter what data give. When people open their door and they look out and they see the problem, until they stop seeing the problem, it's not solved. And we're a long way from that. So I guess what I would say to you, and I'm asking you for too much, I think. You don't really know me yet. I haven't been around long enough for you to see the real results that you want to see. But if you think the strategies that we are pursuing around housing, around prevention, around shelter, around treatment, mental health services, around job training, around supportive housing, if you think those are not the right strategies, in addition to livability and the public safety, I am very open-minded to hearing new and different and better ideas. And people have given us new and different and better ideas. The hygiene pilot, which we funded in the last budget, I didn't make that up. That came to me from the community. Somebody had a really good idea. They connected us with other people who knew how to do this kind of thing. They showed us some jurisdictions that had already done it. And we said, hey, that works. It looks great. Let's do it here. Right? That's just one example of where somebody brought an innovation to us, an idea to us, and it worked really well. If you have others, I'm very interested in hearing. I'd love to work with you on it.
We're just at time. Here's what I want everybody in the room to know. We wanted to be here tonight to hear from you specifically what your concerns were.
My concern is that there's 120...
Let me finish with the wrap up. My concern is I want people leaving here knowing that on this larger stage and on a larger scale, there's many resources committed, there are many programs being enacted, but we clearly hear the concerns that are raised by people who are living in the neighborhoods or who are conducting business or who are facing challenges or threats to health or safety. Don't leave here tonight. Get my card, get other representatives' cards. We had the Montebello Neighborhood Association meeting about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and out of that, we have been following up with questions and concerns that have been raised. Some of you have very specific things you haven't been able to ask, or you want, or you need done. So we want to do both. We want
my question's 30 seconds.
For the concerns you have about your neighborhood, your businesses, and your community, but we also want to help you with the assistance of the district attorney, with the Bureau of Transportation, with Johnny back in the back from One Point of Contact, with Civic Life, with 911, with all of the folks that are here to support you. I hope you leave here tonight knowing you have been heard, but it's not enough. We want to follow up and follow through with you specifically, in addition to all the encouragement and all the things you heard tonight about things that are being done on your behalf. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and let's do a round of applause for everybody. Thank you, and please stick around and ask people questions.
My question for you guys is, you got 120 openings, you got 50 officers retiring in August, and you got 50 more retiring the next year, where are you going to cut the police officers at? Of course, they don't have an answer to that. My question's only 30 seconds. They said 3 minutes, and people took up 15 minutes. They're really going to cry and snivel when they don't have any police watching them because they don't have any police.